Case study: Jones vs. Lipman, 1962. Introduction. Jones vs. Lipman, decided in 1962 by the English High Court, stands as a landmark case in English company law, shaping the rules and principles surrounding piercing the corporate veil. The case centered around a property purchase agreement gone wrong, raising critical questions about when a company's limited liability can be disregarded and legal responsibility placed on individual shareholders. Facts of the case: Mr. Jones and Mr. Lipman entered into a written contract for the sale of a property at £5,250. However, after the agreement was signed, Mr. Lipman had a change of heart and decided he no longer wanted to sell. Instead of simply breaching the contract and facing potential legal consequences, Mr. Lipman took a unique approach. He established a new company with himself as the sole shareholder and director. This newly formed company then purchased the property from Mr. Lipman, effectively taking it out of his personal name and seemingly shielding him from any contractual obligations to Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, understandably displeased with this maneuver, refused to accept Mr. Lipman's company as the new owner of the property. He launched legal action against both Mr. Lipman and the company, demanding specific performance of the original contract and the sale of the property to him as agreed. Arguments of the parties. Mr. Jones' argument hinged on the concept of piercing the corporate veil. He argued that Mr. Lipman's sole purpose in forming the company was to avoid his contractual obligations, constituting an abuse of the corporate structure. He emphasized the pre-existing agreement between himself and Mr. Lipman and Mr. Lipman's complete control over the company as evidence of this manipulation. In essence, Mr. Jones contended that the company was merely a sham or fraud created by Mr. Lipman to hide his personal liability. Mr. Lipman's defense relied on the principle of limited liability, a cornerstone of corporate law. He argued that the company should be treated as a distinct legal entity separate from himself. He emphasized that he followed all legal procedures in forming the company and denied any personal involvement in its actions. Furthermore, he challenged the claim of bad faith, asserting that he had legitimate business reasons for forming the company, independent of the property dispute with Mr. Jones. Court's holding and reasoning. The High Court sided with Mr. Jones, upholding his claim and ordering specific performance of the original contract. Justice Russell, delivering the judgment, established a critical precedent by finding that the corporate veil could be pierced in this case. He agreed with Mr. Jones' argument that the company was indeed a mere fraud created by Mr. Lipman to evade his contractual obligations. Mr. Lipman's sole ownership and control over the company, coupled with the timing of its formation in relation to the property dispute, convinced the court that the company was not acting as a separate entity but merely as an extension of Mr. Lipman himself. Therefore, Mr. Lipman was held personally liable for the original agreement and forced to fulfill his obligation to sell the property to Mr. Jones. Analysis and impact. The Jones v. Lipman case has had a profound impact on English company law and beyond. It clarified the circumstances under which piercing the corporate veil could be justified. providing valuable guidelines for courts addressing similar situations. The case established that limited liability is not absolute and can be disregarded when companies are used for improper purposes such as evading legal obligations or engaging in fraudulent activities. This precedent has served as a deterrent against the misuse of corporate structures and provided crucial tools for protecting individuals from potential harm caused by such maneuvers. However, the case also triggered discussions about the potential undermining of the principle of limited liability. Some argue that the flexibility introduced by the piercing the veil doctrine could create uncertainty and unpredictability for businesses, making it difficult to rely on the protection of limited liability. Conclusion: Jones v. Lipman remains a landmark case in the realm of corporate law, balancing the principle of limited liability with the need to prevent abuse and protect individuals from harm. It exemplifies the complex relationship between corporate structures, personal responsibility, and the legal principles governing contractual obligations. The case continues to inform legal proceedings and shape legal developments, serving as a reminder that while corporations offer valuable benefits, they cannot be used as shields for unethical or illegal actions. If you are a law student and looking for more case studies, visit our website www.mylawtutor.net.